Assalamu alaikum students. This is your teacher of class 6, IYS School. Dear students, before we start our first lesson today, I have some instructions which you need to follow for better understanding. Don't raise your hand during the lecture. Ask questions at the end of the lecture. Use hand-free if you are using mobile and headphone for computer use. Feed your ID and password properly with your name and class. Take care of time for attending the class. Home task should be done in your fair copy of the subjects. And you will make two portions in your copy. The front portion will be your text portion and the back portion will be your grammar portion. If there is any disconnectivity during the lecture, then try to join again with 5 to 10 minutes. Don't turn on your video during the lecture. If you have any question, then ask in a chat box. You have to maintain your copies and do the work accordingly. Your work should be neat and clean in print writing. You should have your active English class 6 course book, a notebook and a pencil to write down your queries and important parts. Be attentive. Focus on listening so that you understand the teacher's explanation. Meanings will be provided to you at the end of explanation so you can easily take a screenshot. So, as you all know that today we have our first topic, unit number 1, my relationship with my father. Open your course book to page number 8. So, what do you understand by the word relationship? Relationship is the way in which two or more people regard and behave towards each other. A good relationship is based on people respecting each other and being able to communicate clearly. So before we start reading, I will tell you what the text is about. In this unit, the author is describing his relationship with his father, which was very difficult as they had different personalities. His father was a disciplinarian and fitness freak, and he hated his son's keen interest in arts. He never showed his love and affection towards his son. Only when he grew old and was moving towards the end of life, he complimented his son by saying, "You have done well, son," and which the writer treasured all his life. So now I read the unit parawise and explain it to you. My earliest memory is of waking up with fright at finding a strange man in strange clothes leaning over my cot, staring at me. The strange man, I was shortly to find out, was my father, and the funny clothes were his sergeant's uniform. It was August 1945. The war was over, and he was home from the front. I would, therefore, have been almost 3 years old at that time. So now the writer is explaining us that the writer is saying that his earliest memory means recollection of waking up, screaming means shouting loudly with fright, with fear, he was very afraid, and finding a strange man. He found an unknown man in strange clothes, unusual clothes, leaning over, bending over his cot, staring at him, looking fixedly at him. And the writer found out that this unknown man, this foreign man, was his father. And he was wearing his funny clothes, that was sergeant's uniform. The sergeant's uniform is the army uniform. So he was wearing his army uniform, and it was August 1945 when his father returned home from the battlefront, from the war side, and the writer at that time was almost 3 years old. So I'll come to the second para now. I mentioned this episode not just because it is the first thing I remember, but also because it was somehow representative of the relationship which I was to have with my father for the rest of his life. I was terrified of him, and I was a complete mystery to him. So here the writer is telling us that he is referring to this episode. Episode means event. He's referring to this event not just because was the first thing he remembered, but also because it was the demonstrative representation, it was a symbolic representation of the relationship which he was to have with his father for the rest of his life. The writer was terrified of his father. That means he was very frightened. He was afraid of his father, and he was a mystery to his father. His father also did not know to him. He was completely unknown to his father. Okay, now the third paragraph. The man who hung over my cot was, indeed, a stranger to me, since my father had not been home for more than 2 years. The reason for this are not known to me. Like so many others, my father was reticent about the details of his war experiences, and I never asked him to account for his actions. Soldiers usually get some form of leave, but perhaps this was not always the case in times of conflict. So here the writer's father had not been home for more than 2 years, and he was bending over his cot and was a complete stranger to him. He was not known to him. The writer did not know his father. He did not know why his father was not there for him. His father was reticent. He was reluctant. Reticent means reluctant, untalkative. He did not reveal his thoughts or feelings about the details of the war experiences, as he had terrible experiences during the war, like many other people. So he did not talk about the war experiences with his family. The writer expected his father to be with his son and get a leave from his work. But unfortunately, unluckily, that could not happen due to the war. When a war is going on, then no army officials get leave. So as the battle, conflict means battle, as the conflict, the battle, the war was going on, so his father could not come to meet his son. So here we have a question here. Why was the writer surprised that his father had not been home for more than 2 years? He was surprised because soldiers usually get leave, and the writer expected his father to want to see his baby son. But now we'll come to para number 4. For whatever reason, he was completely unknown to me when he returned. Sadly, he was to remain a stranger to me, even when I grew to boyhood and later to manhood, completely different in personality. We just never seem to get close to each other or to find out what made the other tick. His return home was a rude awakening for me, as during his absence I had enjoyed the full attention and companionship of my beautiful, gentle, and artistic mother. So here the writer is telling us that he did not know the reason why his father did not get to know, that he did not get to know about his father when he returned, when he came back from the battlefront. He was sad, he was unhappy that he remained unknown to the writer, that his father was unknown to the writer, even when he. Participants, please don't raise your hands. Even when he grew into a boy till his manhood, there was never a they were never close to each other due to different personalities and did not find out what made the other tick. That means they did not get along with each other. His return home was a rude awakening. Rude awakening here means an impolite arousal. It wasn't he didn't feel good about his father coming back home because Nur Fatma, please check your connection. His return home was a rude awakening, impolite arousal for the writer, as before he came back, the writer used to enjoy the full attention, the full companionship of his mother, and was always associated to him. His mother was always there to take care of him, and he loved his mother dearly. So the writer here is giving three adjectives. He's describing his mother with the adjectives like beautiful, gentle meaning kind, and artistic relating to art, something which have interest in art. And now we come to the fifth para. On his return home from the front, my father simply swapped one uniform for another. He joined the police force. My father never seemed happy in ordinary clothes, savage, as he called them. It was as though he needed a uniform to endow him with an identity. And indeed, when he was in an ordinary suit, he seemed to shrink in stature. So when his father came back from the battlefront, he swapped. That means he changed clothes, he switched clothes, and that means clothes means his uniform from army to the police uniform. That means he changed his profession and joined the police department. He joined the police force. His father never liked ordinary clothes, which he called civics. So now the ordinary clothes were called civics by his father. His father needed a uniform. To endow means to cover, to, to represent him, to give him recognition, and so with an identity to give him recognition. So when he wore ordinary clothes, he would shrink means to reduce in stature means the height of a person. So here shrink in stature means that he was reduced by wearing ordinary clothes in reputation. That means his reputation reduced when he used to wear ordinary clothes. So we come to the sixth para now. I'm sure that one of the main reasons for my father's love of uniform was that they were symbols of authority. My father was nothing if not an authoritarian. This made him a strict disciplinarian, even a bully. As a father, and I bear the emotional and mental scar of his treatment of me to this day. I'm lucky that I do not also bear physical scars because he sometimes beat me quite severely with a cane. So, here the writer was sure that his father loved uniforms because they were symbols of authority. That means they gave him, the uniforms gave him power, authority means power. His father was definitely an authoritarian, if nothing else. Authoritarian is one who expects unquestioning obedience, and at that and that he made him a strict disciplinarian. So he was an authoritarian. He wanted unquestioning obedience. He wanted everyone to be obedient to him, and this made him a strict disciplinarian. That disciplinarian here means that to make one behave well. He was also a bully. That means he was also cruel when he was punishing someone, and he punished others very severely if they do something wrong. The writer bears. That means he carries emotional and mental scars. That means his feelings and mind had marks of his treatment up till that today. That means emotional scars were caused as his father's behavior had shown that he did not love his son. And the mental scars were the result of the fact that his father did not allow him to express his opinion. So, but the writer was lucky that he did not have any physical marks, as his father used to beat him up with a cane. Cane is a stick which is used to beat up severely, that means he used to beat him up very badly. So here we have a question. What is a strict disciplinarian? So a strict disciplinarian is one who tries to make other people behave well. How? By punishing them severely when they do something wrong. Okay, now come to seventh para. In the seventh para, the writer says, in view of this, it is fortunate that my father was never much of presence in my life. This was partly because he worked long, irregular hours. It is likely that he spent longer at his job than was strictly necessary because he was extremely ambitious and would have wanted to impress his superior officers with his zeal. This zeal and, to be fair, probably also his ability paid off, and he ascended the police career ladder quite rapidly, becoming a chief inspector when he was still relatively young. So here the writer is telling us that he was fortunate. That means fortunate means he was lucky enough that his father did not had much presence in his life. That is, he had um, did not exist much in his life. This was due to the reason that he worked long, irregular hours, unexpected time. He worked a long time, unexpected time, and he spent more time at his job that was purely necessary, unnecessary because he was extremely ambitious. Now, extremely ambitious means that he had a high, strong desire for success and wanted to impress his superior officers, higher officers, and he worked with zeal, with eagerness. That means he worked with dedication, and his keenness towards his work, to be fair, that means he was just, and his capability paid off means we led him to ascend, rise up high up in the career. Ascend means to rise up high in, so he raised up in his police career profession quite rapidly, here means quickly, and became a chief inspector at a very young age. What is a chief inspector? A chief inspector is one who is below the superintendent and is above the police officer ranking. That means the police officer rank is below the chief inspector, and the chief inspector is below the superintendent. So here the writer is telling us about the three qualities of his father. Okay, I'll explain it later in it only. So, the three qualities of his father were ambition, keenness to work, ability to do his job well. So, his father possessed three qualities. Number 8, however, it was not just work which kept him away from me. He simply wasn't the kind of man who liked to spend much time at home. When he wasn't at work, he would be out indulging in one of his many hobbies. These tended to reflect the fact that he was what would now be known as a physical fitness freak. This was well before the modern obsession with gyms and working out. He, but he did weight training, boxed, swam, played football and golf, and went hill walking, all on regular basis. When he was not indulging in physical exercise himself, he was encouraging others to do so. Thus, he trained in local junior football team and ran a local boys club. But where he coached some of them in boxing and others in swimming. So it was, however, it was not only work which kept the writer's father away from home. He was involved in many hobbies as he did not like to spend more time at home. This displayed the fact that he was a physical fitness freak, that is, he was extremely interested in keeping himself physically fit. He maintained he maintained his physical condition, though there were no modern gyms to work out at that time. He kept fit by doing weightlifting, boxing, swimming, and hill walking. He also played football and golf. When he was not involved in any physical activities, he encouraged others, he persuaded others to do so. And he trained the local junior football team and ran a local boys club where he coached to box and swim. So, here we have a question. What might have passed through the father's mind as he coached the boys at the club? Probably his father wished that his own son would be like those boys who would participate in the physical activities and would become strong. So now I'm coming to the second last para, that is the ninth para. What Yumi asked was his only son, indeed only child, doing when all this activity was taking place. I was indulging in the hobbies which I enjoyed. These were sedentary and thus diametrically opposed to those of my active father. I loved drawing, painting, reading, and writing. Admirable early pursuits for one who was to become an artist, an art critic, as I have, but pursuits which did not endear me to my father. So here the writer is saying that we may have a question that what was the writer doing when his father was involved in in all activities. The writer is saying that he was involved in hobbies like which he enjoyed and got pleasure. These were sedentary, sedentary means involve little physical exercise, inactive, and dramatically means completely opposed contrast. So he was involved in inactive, completely contrast activities to his father's activities. He loved drawing, reading, painting, and writing, which were admirable, inspiring, and pursuits of hobbies, pastimes for one who wanted to become an artist. An art critic is one who analyzes the work of art. But these pastimes did not delight and please his father. Endure means that the father was not happy for his son to have these hobbies and to consider them as a profession. Number 10, last para. I was indeed a disappointment to him. He despised the kind of activity which I enjoyed, and he had to face the fact that a strong, fit man like himself has somehow fathered a weakly child who was often ill. If I had not so strongly resembled him in facial features, he might well have doubted that he was my biological father. So in the last era, he's saying his father was thought that he was a dissatisfaction. He was a dissatisfaction to his father. He despised the activities which the writer enjoyed. His mother loved him a lot, but his father did not love him, and he did not like the idea of his son participating in the activities which were not active, and he was sad that his son often remained ill. Now we'll come to our word meanings. On the screen you can see the word meanings. So the first word is screaming, that means loud, sharp. The second word is fright, that means state of fear, to be afraid. Leaning means to bending. Staring means to look fixedly. Representative is a demonstrative meaning. Terrified means extremely afraid, frightened. Mystery, something unknown, not known to you. Hung means to fell. Caught, bad. Reticent, reserved, reluctant, untalkative. conflict, clash, war, battle. Tick means to signal. Rude, bad behavior, impolite. Awakening means rousing from sleep, coming to senses. Companionship, association, fellowship. Swat, switch. So, I got here. Civis means civilian clothes. Endow, represent. Stature, person's natural height. So please kindly take the screenshot also. Shrink means to contract. So now the other words are authoritarian. One has authority. Disciplinarian, to make people behave. Please take the screenshot of the word meanings. I'll show it again. Take the screenshot so that it becomes easy for you when you do your home task and learn. I repeat, take the screenshot of the word meanings. Bully is cruel, scars means marks, bear a set, cane means stick, fortunate means lucky, good luck, irregular, rough, zeal, power, ascended to move upwards, indulge to satisfy, tended means to be likely, freak, addicted, obsession, unhealthy, sedentary, not moving, diametrically exactly opposite side, pursuits are hobbies, endure to make, and despite means to hate. Now we'll come towards the question answers. Questions provided in your book at page 10. Question number 1, question number 2, and question number 3. And we'll do the question number 10 of level 2. So the first question is, in what year was the writer born? How do you know? Have you guessed the answers? Yes, the writer's father returned in 1945, and at that time he was just 3 years. So writer was 3 years old. So where was the writer when he first recalled seeing his father? You remember that the writer's father was bending over his cot. So the first memory of his father was when his father was bending over his cot. What two reasons does the writer give for mentioning the day his father returned? His mention is because it was his earliest memory and it represents their relationship. From whom did the writer inherit the drawing and painting skill? He inherits them from his mother, as his mother was artistic in nature. Kindly take the screenshot of the questions and answers so that you can do it easily in your book. So, Tariq Aziz, you are supposed to do your work in your English copy. That's your fair copy of the midterm. You'll do as you are instructed. You'll do the word meanings and the question answers in your text portion. And then when we'll come back to school, your teacher is supposed to check them. You don't have to bring them now. There are 2 pages of the word meanings. Kindly take a screenshot. No, dear, we have just selected one question from level 2 and 3 questions from level 1 which you have to do. Your home task is that you have to do the word meanings, Junaid Jaseen Khan, and the question answers, that is 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 10. Hope you have taken the screenshot so that it will be easy for you to do your home task.